Well, it's kind of hard when you're learning blues guitar because you want a progression from easier to harder, and I think I can pretty well say that a lot of this music is so different from what we hear today that none of it's going to be real easy. But maybe the easiest is Mississippi John Hurt, but then he's not real easy. I mean, he's easy in the sense that his playing is very explainable and regular. He's got these alternating bass patterns. If he's on a C, it's fifth, fourth, sixth, fourth string, 5, 4, 6, 4, and then he's got treble notes with these two fingers, and or maybe this one finger. I'm not sure, but in any case, I like to use these two, and they're in two places. They're either all on the beat or right between the beats, and that's it. So you got a pretty simple structure there, but just try doing it. There's a lot of notes that you can have a maximum of 8 notes per measure in the treble while you're doing your 4 in the bass, and you got to keep track of both of those at once, plus what your left hand's doing and stuff. In other words, it's not real simple. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'll go take a listen to that and play it because Mississippi John Hurt is the simplest or whatever. Yeah, maybe that's true, but it's not real simple. And I think for people that are trying to learn this stuff, I would actually suggest learning finger picking first, like I did. If you can just get some simple finger picking going and do some simple songs by ear that have fewer notes and fewer flourishes and stuff, that's a good thing. And then after John Hurt, I don't know who to go to next because everybody seems often left field somewhere with all their crazy licks. Lonnie Johnson has clean, easy to hear licks, but they're not easy to play. He's also in this strange tuning most of the time. I think with the D drop, the E string drop down to D and the A string drop down to G, which isn't necessarily what you want to jump right into at that point. Blind Blake is really a whole other thing. I guess just listen and see who you like and try to get it as close as possible. And I think one of the things that helps you, certainly helped me when I was listening to these records, is that I would get it wrong. So if you're not able to hear quite how complex it is, that can be a help because you probably can't play quite how complex it is until later on. So that you kind of progress in that way. But I think the most important thing, and at least it's the crucial element that is most often left out, is ear training. I definitely have some videos out, and they've got tab and all, but don't get lost in the tablatry. You got to be able to hear the stuff, and if you do too much complex stuff, which you can do pretty easily by just getting the videos and looking at the tab. But if you try and do too much complex stuff, you're never going to want to sit and figure out the simpler stuff that you can figure out. So in other words, what you can play from tab is always much more advanced than the most advanced thing you can play if you're figuring it out for yourself. So try to go at and be at the level you're at and in terms of listening rather than the level you're at in terms of tab. I think the tab is great for documenting these guys' styles, and it's good to use if you want to play this stuff and you can't figure out some stuff. But be careful that it doesn't become the basis of your playing. Ear training takes a real long time, and you can easily sort of accelerate past it, and that's just not good for people's development as musicians. You want to be able to hear the stuff. Don't worry if you can't hear it exactly, then hear it inexactly. But the thing is, keep using your ear. And I think some basic ear training and guitar lessons with simple finger picking songs is probably a good idea to get started.
Way down south on Wabash Street, everybody that you chance to meet doing that rag, that Wabash rag. They are doing it night and day. It will drive your blues away. Doing that rag, that Wabash rag. Wabash and break 'em down. Doing that rag, that Wabash rag. Grab me, mama, hold me tight. Let's mess around the rest of the night. Doing that rag, that Wabash rag. Drive your blues away, doing that rag, that Wabash rag. In the alley, in the street, everybody that you will chance to meet, doing that rag, that Wabash rag.